Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Null Zone. We are here to discuss RTD's comments on wanting a more emotional doctor. And I have an article here by Screen Want. So, I wanted a hero who felt more why Shuti Gatwa was the perfect choice for the new era of Doctor Who. And so we'll just get into the nuts and crannies of all of this. So according to the Doctor Who creative, he wanted a Time Lord who could be more relatable to a younger generation and thus wasn't closed, who wasn't all stiff upper lip. He feels that the life of the young person is bigger and madder and wilder and richer than it was once. He thus wanted a hero who felt more and realised that Agatwa was the perfect choice because he could not hide his emotions for a second. So his full quote was, "I was thinking about what a terrible world it is now and how many stresses of mental health there are on young people, blah, blah, blah. I wanted a hero who wasn't closed, who wasn't all stiff upper lip, and who wasn't swaggering or butch either. When children are feeling scared of the future and when they're on TikTok, laughing hilariously with their friends, the life of a young person, I think, is bigger, madder, and wilder and richer than it was when I was young. We were just sat there and went to school. So I wanted a hero who felt more. And at the same time as that thought along comes Shooty. And bless you, you could not hide your emotions for a second in performance." Right. So this show is clearly aimed at the TikTok generation. Just because your childhood was shitty doesn't mean that that reflects on everybody else's childhood, because my childhood was absolutely amazing. We didn't just sit around. Maybe you did because you were lazy, but the rest of us were out there, interacted with other kids, and we played games, and we enjoyed life. This again is projection for RTD. All of the doctors that we've had have been emotional. So this is a false narrative anyway. Because if you look through, especially New Who, Christopher Eccleston's doctor got quite emotional. David Tennant's doctor got quite emotional. Matt Smith's doctor got quite emotional. Even Peter Capaldi's doctor, who everybody or the younger generation didn't like, was a very emotional doctor. And I would have to say, I think Jodie Whittaker's doctor was the least emotional doctor that we had. But to come out with this narrative of a stiff upper lip and all of this other nonsense, the doctor has shown emotion, especially during the New Who era. And we've also seen it in the classic era, especially with Peter Davison and Earthshock when he loses Adric. Like, I mean, that's quite shocking, and the reaction is absolutely devastating. So to claim that a doctor doesn't reflect people today or the youth or whatever is an absolute nonsense, in my opinion. And this again is RTD projecting, because he had, by the sounds of things, a miserable childhood. That's not our fault. It's not the rest of the world's fault. At the bottom line is, a lot of us felt that this doctor was way too emotional. He overdid it, to be quite honest with you, because the things that the youth that you talk about get emotional and upset about is nothing compared to what we went through when we were growing up. So to say that their lives are madder and crazier than ours, no, it's the drama around them and the little cuckoo land that they all live in, where they think that they can, change gender like a dress. and stuff like that. And the reason why there's a mental health crisis everywhere in the world is because of people like yourself, RTD, who push a certain narrative and a certain ideology on people. And in my opinion, it's indoctrination of the most vulnerable in our society. Now, there are multiple reasons why we have a mental health crisis on this planet. And it's not just in the UK, it's everywhere on the planet. It's because of what they've been putting in their drink, it's what they've been putting in their food, and what they've been spraying in the air, multiple factors. Taking jabs as well has added to all of this. And then, of course, a lockdown for over 2 years is going to absolutely destroy whatever's left of people's mental health. But the bottom line is we don't need a more emotional doctor. What we needed was a more optimistic doctor, especially with the way the world is today. That's exactly the tonic. What people needed was a more optimistic, upbeat doctor. To have a doctor cry at every fucking thing. Oh, you're homeless. Oh, you're adopted. Nobody wants all that bullshit. Right? Again, projection from you, RTD. I'm sorry that you had a shitty childhood. I'm sorry that you feel that the world has been shitty to you and continues to be shitty to you. But the bottom line is, I don't see that. Other people don't see that. You're living in this little bubble, right? The world was a much better place 7, 8, 9 years ago, even though we were going into this madness, right? And look at the world today. Look at the world today. There's been an incident in the UK, right? There was an incident in France during the Olympics where radical ultra leftists are pulling out the fiber optic cables and all of this other nonsense, right? So what this world needed was a more optimistic doctor. But what you want to bring us an emotionally damaged doctor. That's basically what you're saying to the audience. Well, because the youth are emotionally damaged, I'm going to get a doctor that reflects them. Well, I'm sorry, the rest of us aren't emotionally damaged, okay? And I'm sorry that there are people out there that are emotionally damaged, but they should seriously get some help and proper fucking help by people that can actually help them, right? The bottom line is I'm sick of TV and the movie industry doing all of this bullshit, right? The bottom line is your job is to entertain the masses. You haven't done that in decades now, and you haven't done that in the last decade at least, right? Entertained. And you ought to hang your heads in shame pushing all of this nonsense, right? And a more emotional doctor. He did it too much, right? And when I'm talking about emotion, I'm talking about the crying nonsense, right? You can have emotion is a range of things, anger, happiness, stuff like that. But he swung one way with it. He was always fucking crying. Anyway, RTD is just, he's just took everything about the doctor that we know and love, and he's changed it for the TikTok generation. He mentions TikTok, like it's for the TikTok generation. That's what Doctor Who was aimed at, the TikTok. Absolutely, really, really has to be the worst decision that anybody connected to this show has made, right? This show already had an audience here. You're chasing an audience that's going to abandon this show very quickly, by the way. And there's not much of it, right? The Disney leaks and all the other stuff that's been going out has shown a Doctor Who hasn't performed as well as they've made it out to perform. Now, I don't care what side of the argument you land on that, right? I don't care whether you think Doctor Who was a success or a failure. the bottom line is that Doctor Who, in order to be a big brand again, had to do things right. And in my opinion, you're abandoning your older audience to chase a TikTok audience is absolutely disgusting, in my opinion. You've basically told the people like me that have supported this show, watched this show, lived through its greatest moments, its low moments, that we no longer matter. And that is the damning indictment of RTD2. You know, with RTD1, he came in and he had a brief, and it was to get as many people to watch, bring back the older fans as well, and he did that quite successfully. His first era, nobody can deny that. But to come back the second time and to completely dismiss what worked the first time and to go down this TikTok generational route is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So basically, he's okay with the show trending on TikTok in their little 10-second videos or whatever, how long you can TikTok. I don't know. I don't use it. Right? And that's what it's all about, trends. And a lot of people mentioned this throughout the Doctor Who era, this era, RTD1. It was all about trends. And they were absolutely spot on. And I think that was Problem Being, actually, Lee, that said that. It's all about chasing the trends, and Lee was absolutely spot on, and that's exactly what's transpired here. So you know, look, this will all end in tears. It'll end in tears. The show is not going to look at. This is it now for Doctor Who. For us, you know, as fans, it's over, right? But the bottom line is that this is the end of our show. This is the end now. It's because no matter how bad it's going, right? Spin-offs are happening and all of this other nonsense. So it's going to be dragged. The name, the brand Doctor Who, unfortunately, is going to be dragged through the mud a few more years. And all we can do is just sit back and watch this shit show unfold, unfortunately. But there you go. Let me know. The article's in the link description if you are interested. I don't really blame you if you are not. But if you'd like to leave a comment and let me know what you think of RTD's comments. Chasing TikTok, chasing trends is not the way to go with Doctor Who. But that, again, this is thing that Disney do with Star Wars. So, you know, it's absolutely the wrong move. And, you know, it's, as I said, it'll end in eventual tears. That's just the bottom line. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you again for the next one, guys. Have a good one.